There, get to see my bald head. Hey, welcome back to the grind. 1982 Volkswagen Westfalia and Subaru swap done. Then I was just this week I spent some time fixing up some of the, like, I painted it a couple of years ago, and maybe 3 years ago, and it was sitting outside ever since then. Never did anything to it, and a couple of little spots of rust came through. One was here. There was a couple of spots back in here, so I cleaned all that stuff up, and they look quite good again. Then I figured I'd better tackle the dashboard, because the connector on the dashboard was not working properly, and so in the meantime I had hooked up a ignition light here and an oil light back here, so that I'd know if the oil light was doing bad stuff. So since then I got this dashboard apart, took it apart, and see those white connectors there? I put those white connectors in lieu of this connector here, which was a little bit suspect. It just wasn't making good connection, and you know, 50 years later, or however, 82 to now, what's that, 40 years anyhow, 43, 44 years, it lasted pretty good. So anyhow, I replaced that connection with rewired the back of it, did some soldering on it. It's kind of interesting. So stick around, see what happened, and enjoy it all. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. Okay, here I am fixing a couple of things up. This bit here, see how this curves, like it curves around here? When I fixed it last year, well, 2 years ago, I put a new wheel well in here. This is all rusted out, so I had nothing to go from. But it should have a little, see how the curve comes down here and goes in and out again? That was, I had that flat across there. So the door wouldn't close. The door would close, but it took, you know, a good slam to make it close. Now that's the way it should close, just like that. So what I did was I cut a slice here along there, and I just pounded that in, so it got that nice curve to it. And that's only by luck that it's got the nice curve to it, but it looks the same as the other side now, which is good. Now I'll just repaint that, and I don't think I'll even put any body. Well, I should put some fiberglass on top of that weld, just so it seals it up, right? That's what I better do. Okay, well, that'll be later. I'll leave it for now, and I'm starting to do some of this, like here. See, this is where I got like I got tired of it a couple of years ago and just didn't do as good there as I could have done. Like this panel here is great because it's all new metal, but I joined it right about here somewhere to the older stuff, and same on both sides of that seam, because I wanted the seam to stay. So I'll have to clean that all off, put some rust converter on it, and then cover it up. Same in a couple of other places. That's the worst one. There's a couple other little places somewhere I saw them before that I'll fix up. And I'll put a piece of stretched metal, which I have right there, over the back thing here. Now, the other day, I don't know if you watched the video, but the other day when I was driving it, I noticed that the power brakes weren't power braking. And I had the one-way valve on backwards, so of course it wasn't power braking. There was nothing getting to it. I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm pretty sure they'll work now that I have the one-way valve going the right way. It's got to go so that air will flow that way, but won't flow that way. And I had it so air would flow that way, but wouldn't flow this way. And there's nothing up there for slowing it. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that. I'll carry on. There you go. Oh, where am I? So I cleaned this off with the, just like, I'll show you the thing in a minute. Then I put a coat of rust converter on it. So all that stuff that's gone black has got rust converter on it, and that's what it's supposed to do. So that's good. Now I think I did this before I discovered fiberglass reinforced waterproof stuff. So this just had normal Bondo on there, and Bondo will let water come through from one direction or another, likely from the backside, and then starts the corrosion. So this time here I'll put a little bit of I'll put a skim of fiberglass reinforced down in here, let that harden, then I'll put the seam back into it just with the Dremel tool, if I can find my Dremel tool, and then it'll be ready for a little bit of, you know, undercoat or whatever they call that, primer and paint. So that will come out nice. That will look good when I'm done. Then I'll do the same over here on the door. I'll put a coat of fiberglass reinforced waterproof stuff there. And there's one other spot, well, two spots. One spot is right here. Now I have to take this cover off to get to that properly. And the other spot is on the bottom of this door over here, which I might just do right now, clean up. Now that I've got the little tool out right there, and I didn't ever do anything to that. I just put some Bondo on that and let it be, which was likely a mistake, but that's okay. So here's what the tool I used. It's on the air thing, just one of those, and it's a what you'd call a Scotch-Brite thing. It seems to work pretty good just for taking the paint off. It doesn't get into the metal, so that's okay. It cleans it up. See if I can do this without ruining anything, right? Or ruining too much. There, that's all of that. So what I'll do now is, well, I'll show you. Great clean, great stuff. That seems to be back to where all the rust was. And now I'll get my rust converter. Hang on. Here I am, back again. So that's got the rust converter on it, and I'll leave that set for a while. I'm going to put another little coat of rust converter on the other side. Okay, I'll leave that till tomorrow, and then we'll put some fiberglass stuff on it just to smooth it out a bit, and I'll also do this. I'll take this thing here. I'll take this off tomorrow and do that little bit right there. I think that's, well, there might be a little bit more right over here. Yeah, right here there's some. So I'll give this a grind off tomorrow too. That'll be doing a job for tomorrow. And maybe a bit right there. It's not bad. It's just little touches where I didn't do a great job. I will admit it. I didn't do a great job of sealing it, and I didn't actually know that much about it then. I was just, have at her. So this is 3 years later. I think 3 years since I painted this. So, and it's been sitting outside ever since. So that's all right. I won't complain. Did not bad for being the rust bucket it was when I got it. So there you go. Yeah, so I came out with intentions to carry on with this stuff here, right? And don't you know, I wanted to move the van. So I started it up, and it wasn't getting any voltage. So the alternator wasn't working, and I tracked it down to the light on the dash here. Now, I've had trouble with this before, and it's this multi-connector at the back here. I 13 or 12 or 13, 14 pin connector, the white one on the far side there. And it's not getting, either it's not getting a ground or it's not getting power or something's going on there. Anyhow, so I bypassed it so that when you turn on the key, this will be a multi-function, go back and forth here. I've got this light, it's an LED light, but it's a two-way LED light, so it works for this application. When you turn on the key, that light comes on, and when it starts charging, that light should go out, because that's the way that the alternator works. So I started off, and it should be charging now, and indeed that light went out. And I can just hook this up. Takes a second for all these buttons to get pressed here. So this should say 14.2, which is right, which is what it should be there. So that's good there. Now the oil pressure light also doesn't come on up there. So I'm gonna, what the oil pressure sending unit does, it takes positive at key on, which is this wire here is positive at key on. It doesn't have to be, it only has to be a one-way bulb, this long as this is, the positive goes to this side here, I think that's right, and negative will go to the oil pressure sending unit, which is one of these wires in here. Now, I'm going to set up this wire here so that the oil pressure light comes on back here also. And I may at a future date, I'm going to figure out something up there so I've got oil pressure, and maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but I'll check a few things on that board up there, on that dashboard, because also the when you turn on the signal lights, and the click 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 light doesn't work anymore either. So that says to me that there's not getting power to it somehow or other in there, or the voltage stabilizer burned out, and it might have burned out because maybe this is the way this is set up. I'm not sure. I don't think that would make a difference there, but anyhow, I do know that the little LED lights that are in there still work, but no power, no, like what that, when this has got power at key on, and then this light will search without that turning. It searches in there and finds a ground through the alternator. Through the alternator. Then when you start the car, so this wire here is positive from key on. This wire here is ground through the alternator. Is that right? No, this wire here is positive from key on. This wire here is ground through the alternator down there. And then when you start the car, then this wire coming up to here becomes positive. So you got positive, positive, and that makes it so that light goes out. Now the oil pressure light's a different thing because it's just to send positive to the oil pressure light, and as soon as the oil pressure goes out, it grounds out there. So I'm going to set up an oil pressure light here for my car, just so I know it's got oil pressure. Okay, there you go. That's alternator. That one there is oil pressure. So hopefully they'll both go out when I start the motor, right? And then right now the voltage is reading 12.4 and nothing happening, so I'll start it up and see if those lights all go out. I know they're at the back of the car, but I'll fix that up later sometime. Starts up really nice now, but the yeah, so oil pressure lights out, alternator lights out, and 14.2 there. Now I left this spare wire out here. This is key on a 5 amp fuse that's coming through that one right there. So I'm gonna let that be so that that works. I'll think about that up at the front there, because that's just bad connections on the ground up there, or on the positive, or what, bad connection through that 12 pin connector or 14 pin connector. I might have to take that. Like, you can't really do. I suppose I could do something, but I'll think about it. Right now, this will be fine. Oh, but you will be happy to know that the power brakes do power brake stuff. So that's one good thing from yesterday. Amazing what one day and things go to hell, but that's all right. And then this thing here, the O2 sensors are doing what they're supposed to do. They go small and big, small and big. Well, it doesn't really show on there so much as it does on the, if I had a graph it would show better. Might have a graph there somewhere, hang on. Yeah, so back on the paintwork. This little bit here I cleaned off, this little bit here I cleaned off, those two spots, and that spot right there, and then one other spot on the other side, and otherwise it's all pretty good. Like, there's a couple of spots where, you know, in a few years time it's going to start bubbling through, but one right here. Now I'll fix up these things so they look a bit better, and what I'll do is I'll get my sander and sand this back a little bit here, so I can put body filter on it, and I'll put the waterproof stuff on there. That one there, just inside the door, that's easy. Okay, so anyhow, I'll get at it. Yeah, there we go, little patch there, and I'll get that sanded down, like a little bit high on that, but that'll sand off okay, and then I'll repaint this edge of it down here from that body line down, eh? Then over here, haven't done that yet. Get to that soon. That'll be a tomorrow thing. Then this side here, I just brought like that stuff right straight down. Then I'm gonna go with the Dremel tool later and I'll clean out that crevice there, because that'll just make a mess trying to clean it out without the other way. Anyway, let it hang on its hocks. Oh yeah, and then one more thing I did up there. Hang on, get around there. I'll turn you off for a second. Yeah, then I just put the some body putty on here to cover those welds, and that'll seal them up from so they won't rust. Then that's pretty simple to paint that. I'll just clean it up a bit, paint it. Okay. Yeah, there's that little bit pretty near ready to paint again. Now I did the that took off all the body filler, right? I wonder if I should put a bit more on there. I've got the rust converter in there, so I'll just paint it up and see what happens. It take a couple of years, it'll come back again. What the hell? That one worked out okay. It's I took a Dremel tool and went down the middle of it here just to clean out that body line there. Once it's painted, it'll look just fine. I'll take a bit of sandpaper and clean up these edges a bit. This is only down to 40 grit. Well, 40 grit on that is like 80 or 90 or something. Yeah, so I got that ready to go, but you can see just a bit of a line there, right? Yeah, it's tacky enough. Anyhow, I'll let it be because it's way down there. You won't notice it too much. The other side I did a nice job on. These ones here, I'm just going to hang back on a bit. Do up this stuff here that I've got ready. Then I've got primer down here. Looks pretty good. There's a couple of little spots on it, but it'll be fine. I am going to go, I'll put another coat of primer on here. Then I'm going to go and get just a spray can of this color is fire engine red. I think they have it in the spray can, so that would be easier than mixing up a whole bunch of it. But we'll see if I can't. Then I have to get some acetone anyhow. Yeah, that was a successful trip to Canadian Tire. Rouge Fire Red, which is the same color as that. Then Tremclad makes clear gloss. Don't know when they started doing that. And I got another thing of what do you call that? Gray primer. So 2 of these red ones, 1 of the clear gloss, and I'll go ahead and paint this and see how it turns out. Yeah, that's looking halfway okay. I think I can be happy with that. You can still see a bit of a body, like a bit of a sand line there, but I don't think you have to be looking pretty hard to find it. So it's fine. Now this clear coat stuff, this is Tremclad Clear Gloss, and it says you can use it to cover paints, but it said to wait 48 hours, so I'll just leave this stuff all on here for 48 hours, then we'll give it a clear coat and see what happens. Yeah, so here's the other side. It still needs another coat here, and I'm going to put another coat on the other one too, but that's actually going to be okay when it's done. The only thing about it is you get a little bit of a ridge line along the edges, but I can buff that out, I think. We'll just see how that goes. This thing fell down on me. Guess I gotta move. Yeah, there's 3 coats on there. That's pretty big area that is. Hopefully it'll look all right when I'm done. I might just, what'll I do? I'll let that dry overnight, then I'll take the tape off that one and buff the sides so that it's like use 1000 grit or 1500 grit and just wet sand the sides so that they come together nicely. Well, I'll show you tomorrow. Anyway, that'll be for tomorrow anyhow. This side, this one over here, it's all along that seam right there, and you won't even notice. So I'm going to leave that alone until it's time to clear it. And that side over there, I'll just clear a little bit bigger area. Maybe I should just leave it the way it is and then clear it. I'll think about this. Anyway, till tomorrow. Now tomorrow I'll just leave that stuff alone, and I'll see about getting this bodywork, like a little bit of filler put in there, a little bit of filler just to lighten those things up, and then might get a coat of paint on that later on tomorrow. We'll just see. And then there's 2 little spots here on this side here that I have to do. Okay, anyway, see you tomorrow. Yeah, that dried pretty nice, and it's a nice finish there. I don't want to screw it up with the clear coat stuff. Reading the instructions, it says not for automotive use. So I've taken a piece of non-automotive metal, right? It was rusty and ugly, and I just put a coat of red paint on it. I'm going to let it sit, put another coat on, and then let that sit for 24 hours. Then I'll put clear on that, see how that works out. If it works, then I'll put it on that. But anyhow, that's in the meantime. I got this stuff here covered up there too, so that'll take some sanding to get that cleaned off. And on the other side here, I was just going to paint these bits, then I had the body filler out, so I figured, well, I might as well just put a bit of body filler on there. But this looks pretty good too. Like that's, I'm a little bit frightened of what it's going to look like at the edges, because that's usually where there's, you see the edge, but we'll wait and see until I pull off the tape, and then we'll know. Yeah, there I put a couple of coats of paint on there. I put some primer on first, and then paint. Same up there. These are just little rust spots that came through, so I figure I'll make them a little bit better. Took 2 years for it to come through like that, so I think it'll be better this time. I've sealed it up better. And hopefully, well, we'll see. Wait for another 2 years and see, right? Anyway, it's all holding together pretty good from the original work on it, so that's good by me. Yeah, so I picked this up on Made in China, hey? What do you know? Anyhow, it's a little 12-volt heater. It's got two pretty heavy-duty fans at the back here, and it's a variable speed thing. These are for the water intake. There's a port right in the middle of the van, underneath the van. I'll show you tomorrow, or I'll show you later. There's a port down there, but you see these three holes here, it's got to hook into the port that used to have the gas heater from the Volkswagen van. And the gas heater is no good anymore. It's got rust holes in it. So anyhow, it's got these three holes coming out of here. So I figured on the 3D printer, or on this, I'd make a little bit of a thing. So those three holes there should fit over those three holes there. And then this, on the other end of it here, this part here should go onto the where the whatever you call that thing is, where it goes in to the heat system from the back. And then there's fans. There's a good fan at the front of the van that I can use to suck air through also, and that will make it so the defroster works or the heater works normally up in the cab portion. We'll just see how it works out. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, well, we'll work on something else. I'll just show you it's printing on the printer right now. So. Yeah, that goes just printing away.
Not much happening right now, just some light rain.
Another 5 hours, that'll be done.
Yeah, so I'm glad I did a test piece. I guess I won't be doing a clear coat
On that stuff over there, because
this is what happens.
just doesn't agree with it.
Yeah, that didn't work very well, did it?
Wait till I get a rubber glove on, or just see what happens if I scrape it a bit.
Yeah, it takes it right off. Just like a paint remover, hey? Isn't that something?
Well, there, that says that. I won't use that on there, because that'll just eat through it. There, that worked out okay. Everything, all the, like the little rust bubbles are gone. I painted the inside of this and cleaned up a little bit of rust on it too. Then all the rust bubbles are gone down here. That looks good. This little patch of rust right up here is disappeared. I wonder what it looks like inside the door now. Let's have a look. See if I just put a little spray of paint on there just to.
Oh yeah, that looks all right in there.
And the door shuts like a proper door, like that. Used to have to slam it pretty hard. This stuff here, there's a bunch of old tape on here that I'm trying to scrape off. And then down here, can you see over there? That's like this was. Let me go around. I'll just be right back. There, that's the. You can see the line here. I'll rub that out with the rubbing compound, you know. But here I did like what they call a soft join, which I'd never figured out how to do before, but I guess you just put the tape on upside down around the paper, and then it stops it from making that hard line. But it does have a little bit of a edge to it. I'll get that with rubbing it out too. But now all those, like there was some rust bubbles down here that I didn't like, and the rust bubbles were all the way along here. Now hopefully that won't come back, because it's I sealed it up well this time. So we'll see how things work out. Anyway, that's looking much better. Yeah, and on the heater thing, I did a test fit. There's that and that. I wonder where. Just 1 minute ago, I had the rubber thing. Wait a minute. Yeah, so there's the rubber thing. It will hook onto, that's the original Volkswagen part. It'll hook onto the heater duct that went from the gas heater up. And then this will blow in there with hot air. So it should send some heat towards the dash. That'd be nice. Now, I've started reprinting a little bit beefier copy of this. It's got a bit longer thing here to catch the rubber, and a little bit beefier down on this end of it too, so that it'll fit on quite nicely, I think. Anyhow, there's always the prototype, right? You use twice as much plastic as what you should have to use because you had to make a prototype. Anyway, that's all for now. And right now the other one, the new one's just baking on the 3D printer. Well, all my paint stuff I'll put away for now. I don't think I have to do any more painting on anything. Maybe I'll take this gas cap off and put a clear coat on that so it doesn't get any worse than it is. Yeah, so on to the dashboard. On Dasher, on Vixen, hey? Anyway, I gotta see if I can clean up all these contacts here. And so this part here comes off. It sort of just clips on there. You have to take that screw and that screw, used to be a screw there. Take them out, and then that will pop out of there, and then you can get access to the little tabs that hold it. Like it's just these little tabs here. Try not to break them. Then unscrew this stuff here. So I'll just go ahead and I'll take this all apart and see if I can get how's that come off of there, I wonder. Just like that. Yeah. See if I can get the that must be a ground. Get everything cleaned up on this little circuit strip. Then things might work again. We'll see. Okay, hang on. Here, just watch for a bit. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty boring. See if I can get these. Like I got the nuts off there, but getting the washers off is another story, right? I tried it with a magnet, but a magnet wouldn't do anything. These ones here are more needly, right? There we go. Try not to lose any of these bits and to try and remember where they go. Yeah, I'll get a piece of I'll get a plastic thing for doing that. Yeah, amazing. You've got all this room and then no room. Whoops, that came off. Okay, that worked. It's just folded back on itself, I think. Don't know. Either folded back on itself or disappeared. And if it's disappeared, well, we'll put a little bit of solder on there just to get it back together. Then into here, well, let's get this all. This whole thing will come up now, and there we have it. Now I can test all these circuits and see if they actually work, and I'll clean up what I have to. Because then if I can get this all to work again, then, whoops. So I'll test all these circuits and see if they work, and if I can get them all to work again, then I'll be a happy guy. But first off, I'll just put this over here. And put this down here. I think that there's a couple of these circuits here are a little bit suspect, like that one right there. There, I can get it to come back into life. That one's broken. I wonder how I can get that to stay down there. Wonder if I just soldered a little tiny wire onto each one of those and then put a different type of connector on it. Bet you I could do that, right? And that would make it for sure they have a connection. Let me try that. Well, I'll either try it or ruin it, but here's all these transistors have to be in place, all right. I think they're all okay. I think it's just a matter of these contacts that are dirty everywhere. This is the voltage stabilizer. It should have a certain amount of resistance. I'll check and see. Where's my thing? I'll check in the book. The book tells you how much it should have. I'll turn some ohms on here and see if it does have any. Open circuit, it says. Wonder if that way. 6.5, 6.6. 17.7. Okay. Don't know what that means, but that's something going on there. I'll check in the book. Okay, I'm going to read the book a bit. Okay, voltage stabilizer test, right? So here's, I don't know, can you see everything here? Yeah. This side here is input. This side here is output. That side is a ground, right? Or that's a ground. I've got on here, this is a negative terminal right there. This one's a positive terminal right there. So now going, if I take this pin and this pin, it should be 12 volts. 12.28. Yeah, because 12.48 is coming out of the machine. Then if I take that pin and this pin, should be 9.93 is correct. Anything between 9.5 and 10.5 I think is good. So that voltage stabilizer is working. That's first thing out of the way. Let me just check the numbers here. Yeah, if the voltage is above 10.5 and or below 9.5, then this is defective. But that's right. Then I should be able to, if I ground, let me find, I gotta get some pins, right? Actually, I can use this. Put this in that button there, right? And then this over to 15 amp. Then that should give me continuity through that. So now I have to find out which pin is which on these lights. That. Now you got to watch these lights whilst I do this. So I need to get through to a ground. So this button here, any one of these is a ground. There's a ground right there. So if I ground that, nothing happens there. Nothing happens there. Nothing happens there. Nothing happens there. Did something flash on there? Did I miss one flashing? Maybe I need a better ground, right? Or I need something different. Okay, just give me a minute here, I'll get something. Okay, so this one here, number 10, That should be the oil pressure light. There we go, that works. Okay, now next, this number 1 should be instrument lights. But I can't really get in there to that thing without grounding and everything else. Anyway, I won't fight with that one yet, right yet. Alternator is number 13. That's this one right here is the alternator light. Yeah, and see that? I don't know if you can see that, but that little LED comes alive right there. So that connection is good. So it must be just one of the grounding connections wasn't good. Let's see what happens if I unhook. I've got 2 ground connections on it. There's this one and the other one there, the one that I've got. So that's off. Number 13 worked a minute ago. It's working again still. Yeah, so that ground is still good. Now I gotta find that proper one to put that on again. Number 2 and number 5. Number 2 and number 5 are both grounding. That's number 2, 3, 4, 5. That's this one right here. And there's just this stuff here has just got weight on it, right? Okay, so that works. Signal light thing, I'll find out that one's going, right? Number 14 should be this one. I think there's a bit of, yeah, there's a bit of color in there. So that's getting power. Not much, but getting power. And then that's a signal thing. High beam is number 4. Number 4 is high beam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right next to it. This one here. I don't see any light there. Because all they do is search for a ground, unless that's got to be a positive going to there. Let's try that. Don't see any power. Oh yeah, there it flashed, eh? So yeah, there it got power to that, which is good. This came off of wherever it came off of, doesn't matter. Then this one here must need power also to make it happen. Number 1's got to be a positive going to there, but I don't know if that little light works or not. Most of the connections seem to work all right. And I think it's just in this connector. In this connector is a problem, and perhaps in some of the grounds. So if I do this, put this in here again. There, that's got ground everywhere. I'm going to check the grounds, so I'll just go over to this, move this button over to here. So ground should be, you can hear that? This one here should be ground. Yeah, that should be ground. Maybe it's just, maybe not, maybe there's, oh yeah, there's ground there. Not much ground on that one. Nothing there. This one, did I check? That should be ground. Yeah, it is. This one here, what's that? That's fuel. So how do I, that's got to be on the inside here. I think that one there gets, well, that one I know was working, so I'm not going to be too concerned about that. Then all these grounds over here, this should be a ground here. One of them, yeah, that one's a ground. If I can get this apart. Oh, we'll get this instrument cluster to work again yet. Yeah, that one there is ground, but it's pretty flimsy. Okay, so everything here works. Now it's just a matter of getting it to talk to everything else. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to make a bunch of wires and just solder them onto there and put a different type of connector into it. Then I'll clean up all these other connections as best I can, and then we'll see what goes from there. A pretty fragile thing this is. Now I've watched Keith Jackson. Is it Keith? Yeah, Keith Jackson. F.E. Keith Jackson doing camera stuff, and he does it very delicately, but he seems to get it done all right. So I imagine we can do it very delicately and get it done all right. Just a matter of putting wires onto there. Okay, let's give it a try. Otherwise I'll fight with it forever, right? Okay. Okay, I don't know, can you see? We gotta look at both sides here. This thing here, I've got the ground on the ground side, and this power is going straight to the instrument lights. And there's, well, just sort of flashes, but bad connection, but it works. And I checked this other one and it works. And then this one here is supposed to have a light bulb, but it's nothing there. Anyway, that's encouraging. So just a matter of cleaning it up, making all the connections good. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm at it. I forgot to turn on the camera. Oh well, that's all right. You didn't miss much. So I'm just going along each one of these and putting a dab of solder on them. Now, this one here was my first test one just to see if it worked. So I need 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't need number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't need number 11 or 12, 13 and 14 I need. So I just take a little dab will do ya. Put it on there. Then carefully put it on there. Now I have already soaked that in flux so that it's ready to take the solder. And you got to be real careful you don't burn all through this stuff, but I think it's okay. I think I'm all right. We'll see. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6 is empty. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is empty. These two here. That's them. Now, I'll get a little piece of wire and I'll show you when I'll show you in a minute, as soon as I'm ready. I'll just do one here and for a test and see how things work out. So here's my wire. Just take that much off the end of it. Then I need a bit of flux on that. Can you see this, or I'm in the wrong spot? Anyway, there's a bit of flux on that. Then just need to put a piece of, just put a weight there. Put a little tiny dab of solder on that. And we'll see if we can get this to solder onto there. If it does, it's good. Need a bit of solder on this. I did it, but whoop, pulled it right out of there. So that's a problem. Okay, I'll keep on working on this. Maybe there was no connection to that, eh? That was the one that was blank. Anyway, yeah, so clear coat does a good job on this sort of thing. Maybe I'll put another couple of coats on that just because. Feels good. A little bit of a rough spot there and there where it's on top of that old paint and right there, but it feels pretty good. I'll put another couple of coats on it. Well, get you set up here and you can see what's going on in the action of the world. There's about, that's about where, see these wires here now are on, but the after I finish this, I'll see if I can get the hot glue gun going and glue that all down again. See how that works. But so far, so good. So what I do is I have a wire, right? Got a wire. And I've got a bit of solder paste on that wire. I didn't put any solder on there yet. Just take a dab of solder on the end of the soldering iron. And very carefully, like this is where the steady hand of a 70-year-old is really not that steady, but that seems to work. So every one of them so far hasn't pulled out except for that very first one, which I don't think was hooked to anything. Anyway, I got to make more wires, and they're all the same color. I'll just number them all so that, well, I'll put them into a connector. Here's my bundle of wire, right? I don't know if you can see that or not. But here, I sort of just take that length, about there, and I'm going to clip them all off even later, but right now, those are all good. Now, next is strip them a little bit. Just take that much. Can you see that? That much. Now I'll just get some glue on each one of them. I don't know if you saw that, getting the goo on them. In behind you here, I've got some solder paste back there that I cleaned this off in. That all works pretty good. Anyway, I'll just carry on. I'll show you when I get all done. That one had too much paste on it. And not enough solder on. That's got it. I've got the gun set at a fairly medium type temperature. Might even be a little bit still too hot, but we'll persevere with this. You can see it when it hardens on there. Only 2 more to go. Need to get 1 more wire. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, that all happened too fast. So I took a glue gun and glued all that stuff down, and it separates them so that they can't touch each other. Now, maybe I should have tested them all before I did that, but I guess that's done. So I'll let that glue harden and then carry on to the next step. I don't very often use glue guns, and I was waiting for it to heat up enough to go all right. So it seems to work. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I'm going to put some electric tape around here. I tried taking this masking tape off, but it started peeling back the covering. So I'll put some electric tape around that, then I'll test all those connections and just see if it's working. Okay, so I checked it out. I don't know, can you see this thing here? That's for checking out the voltage stabilizer, right? Which was working before I did everything, all this. And we'll see if it still works. So I'm going to put the ground on here. On that side of the voltage stabilizer it says 12.27. And on this side of the voltage stabilizer it says, it's all over the place, so it's not making a good connection. 9.93, which is between 9.5 and 10.5, so that's good. Okay, so can you see that? Yeah, I think so. Okay, now over here onto these things. See if I can get that. So then, this is a high beam switch, and it's number 4, which is this wire right here. It's looking for a positive. So if I do that, yeah, there you get positive. That draws 0.32 amps. Neat. Okay, so that's fine. That works. Next one is 14 is the indicator. That's this wire here. It's looking for a ground, I think. Is it looking for a ground or a positive? Don't know. Try it on a ground. Yeah, there it's got a little green light in there. You can sort of see it. I wonder what would happen if I hit positive on that. Nothing. Yeah, so it's looking for a ground. Number 13 is alternator. That's this one here. Looking for a ground. That's got a light on it. Number Number 10 is the oil pressure switch. That's these ones here, maybe that's, yeah, this one here is number 10, and it's looking for a ground. and there, that works. So all these lights are working through my, you know, terminal madness here. Okay, that's good. Now I'll put some connectors on it. I have one like a Molenex connector, but it's heavy duty waterproof and I don't need that sort of thing here. So I'll just go with what I have and make some here's my crimper thing. I'll just take, oh, that's that thing there turning itself off. There we go, turned off anyhow. This thing here, that goes there. Then we'll just take the first wire in the crowd here. And that little crimp goes on there like that. Then that will go into here. Try and make this sort of in order. So that's number 2. It's going to go right here. I've got a 2 and a 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll take the first 4 and put it in a 4. I got a 6 and a 4. Take the first 4 and put it in a 4. Maybe I'll take the second 4 and put it in a 4, and take the third 2 and put them in a 2. Think about that. First off, I'll do this. So if I make that down, make that up, put number 1, number 2 right there. I'm going to put a number on that somehow. If I can. 2. Then I'll carry on through it and I'll show you when I get done. There, those things are all hooked together now. So this is 7, 9, 13, 8, 10, 14, 4, 5, 2, and 3. So now I have to go and figure out the in the car, right? Yeah, so here I am in the van, and just take them one at a time. I'm cutting it off and putting it on the new one. Now if I can get this thing. What the? Can't even get it to where I want to cut it, eh? That works better that way. So that's number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are in here, and this is number 7 now. You gotta get that off there. See, too close. Coming up with the clippy thing here. That didn't get it. Missed it. Two of them have screwed up. Oh well. Try it again. There we go. That's number 7. So I put it, I've got, I don't know, can you see this? I got the numbers along there where the pins are supposed to go. So that number 7 goes right here. And like this way. Number 7, then number 8 goes here, number 9 goes there, 10, so on and so forth. So on and so forth. I'll do one more here, then I'll shut you off because you're right in the way. Anyway, I'll carry on and I'll show you when I get them all done. Yeah, there we go. Those are all on there. And my light just went dead. Oh well. So, got called away for a little bit. I'm back now and let's see if I can get this finished put together. Hang on. Okay, so I've cleaned up all of these connectors reasonably well. Not perfect, but reasonably well, and this is all set to go again. I cleaned up these connectors on the for the lights, dash lights, even that one there, and I found a little light bulb. I stole it out of the well, didn't steal it. I took it out of the Subaru stuff. Okay, so now see if I can get this all draped on here again. This part here goes in first. I don't know if you can see that. Am I looking the right way? I don't know. And it's got to go just right in to the right spot here. It's got a couple of guides. Didn't show you that. In here there's a guide, and in there used to be a guide, and in here there goes a screw. There used to be a screw there, but it doesn't. There's nothing for it to screw into anymore there. So, if I can find my little screwdriver, there it is. I'll put the one here that works. Then, I don't know if you can see over here, this thing here just drapes on here. Then I'll see if one of these things will go in there. They actually fit in there. Is that the Volkswagen one, or is that the... That's the Subaru one. Yeah, it just goes like that. I don't think they fit. No, that doesn't fit in there tight at all. That's too bad. Hang on, I'll find something here. Yeah, there, that's all fitted back in. That light works, that light works. Don't know about anything else working, but I'm going to tape this on here so that it doesn't, you know, rattle around. Why am I pointing the wrong way? Tape this around here so it doesn't rattle around, and that's just onto the old. Well, it's not even an old connect. That's what it used to be held on. It was held down with this thing here, which I guess I could have put it on there before, but oh well. Now, tape it on. Okay, I've got it set in here, and the headlights go on. That yellow beam there comes on, but there's no light in here unless there is. I can't tell. There might be a light there. Who knows? Who knows? No light there, but that's okay. Then the clicky thing for the blinkers works. That's a good sign. So there's no oil pressure or ignition light yet, because I haven't done that. And the gas gauge doesn't seem to work. Clock's working, gas gauge not working. I don't know why. It hasn't worked really ever. So not a big surprise, but it has a new sending unit in it down there. So maybe I've got something hooked up backwards. Okay, so I hooked the ignition light. This is Volkswagen ignition light. This is So from the alternator right here. So this wire here is looking for a ground, and this wire here is looking for a ground. They both got positive coming to them. Yeah. So anyway, and I did the same thing with the oil pressure light. Just hooked it in parallel, that light. So let's see if it works. Oh, oh yeah, ignition light and oil light up here. Now if I start the motor, can I do that? Yep, oil light goes out and the ignition light goes out at the same time. I better open the door. I'll turn on this thing here and see if it's actually charging. Yeah, there, battery's charging, 14.2. Everything here is working okay. This thing here seems to be switching okay. Yep, that's working. So, and that was a cold start. That started up nice for a cold start. Right? Now let's see what's happening up here. What we have to gauge is on the instrument panel here. Still nothing in the fuel. That works. That works. So that must have solved it. Headlights work. Okay, so I got to figure out that fuel gauge here one of these days. I don't know that. I think I might have it hooked up backwards, eh? Who knows? Ah well. I'm not gonna be too concerned about it. I'll just make sure I don't run out of fuel, or carry some extra fuel with me. Right. Anyhow, that seems to be working okay now, and all the oil pressure light went out right away. So did the other light, ignition light. 14.1. Engine temperature is 42 degrees going up. So good. All right, that's enough for today. Hey? Yeah, there. That. I think that's enough for this video too. Hey. So, what did we get done? Oh yeah, and cleaned up some of the little rust spots that were in the paint and painted over them again. Found out that the Rust-Oleum clear coat. I think clear coat likes to work over 2K paint. That one there turned out really nice. There was a spot of rust right up in there. Can't see it anymore. Then back in here, there was a part, just a bubbly thing. You know how the rust bubbles through right here, and then it was bubbling here and along here. That's all cleaned up. And over on this side, this whole seam here was bubbling, and right down in here, a couple little spots, don't know where, somewhere in there, but that's all cleaned up. So what I did was cleaned it up and then put a little bit of body filler, like the reinforced Bondo reinforced fiberglass filler, and that stuff is waterproof, which I hadn't done originally, and I should have done, but I didn't even know about it back then. So anyway, that's good. Then also in the over here, that floor there, so that this was out too far, so I cut a thing in there and then pushed it in. So that's good. Yep, got that done. You've seen all that, right? And then I fixed up the dashboard, so it's working properly again. Yay! Except for the gas gauge. Don't know what to do about that, but this might be a video of its own, hey? So, hope you liked it all, and come on back for more. We'll be There'll be more. There's always more. Make sure you like to, well, if you're listening this, if you're here this long, you likely have liked and subscribed. But I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye for now. Yeah, okay. This happened. More snow. Oh, you'll get a bunch of wind here. Yeah, it's a windy day today too. But doggy's happy with the snow. I didn't bother, well, I did the driveway with the tractor, but it was throwing lots of gravel around, so I figured I better not come down here, and it's all soft underneath. So don't want to make a mess. So it's supposed to snow again tonight, more, but hopefully this melts off by Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll just see how things go. Nice when the sun comes out. Anyway, won't make it to the beach this one, but we'll try and get down there next week and see how things are. So, see y'all later. Yeah, it's very pretty through the woods here anyhow too. Wind hasn't blown the snow off the trees here. Heads up above. Gotta watch where I'm walking or else I'll fall over. You see the doggy's footprints down through here. The rabbits are all away for the day. Yeah, this snowstorm and then another one coming tomorrow. So, and then hopefully that'll be the end of it. You never know, Marchuary, right? Welcome to Marchuary. Yeah, and there's Buster. That was all nice and cleaned off yesterday. Oh well. Sun's gonna come out here soon. And Buster and I'll head back up the hill. That way.